Hi there and welcome to Transcona Trailer Sales. Today I'm going to be walking you through your 2024 Sunseeker 3010Ds. We are just going to start off at the back of the unit. If you notice, you do have a 2-inch receiver out back here with a 7-pin plug in case you're wanting to tow a smaller trailer. You got your rear view camera there. And then to the left of the unit, you get up this big compartment door, open it up. This compartment does go straight through to the other side. Inside here is where you're going to find your starter kit. Inside there does include your sewer hose, which fully extended is about 10 feet long. You got your 15-foot water hose. We've already put the adapter to go up to your sewer on the hose, and then just some other goodies, as well as a 15-amp park adapter, which I'll explain to you in just a second. To the left of that, you're going to get your standard twist lock 30-amp plug-in. Just take a note of that notch there. It lines up with this notch on this end. You're just lining that guy up, pushing it into place. Once pushed into place, and it's an 1/8 turn to lock it in. And then you got that threaded collar to really lock it down. If you follow that cord back, you do have your standard 30-amp plug-in, which most campsites should have, and you can plug right on in and have full power. But let's say you have the unit at home and you want to run the fridge, or your campsite only has 15-amp service. We do include a 15-amp park adapter. Just keep it in mind when you're going down to 15 amps of power. You can only run your lights in your fridge. Really, it's not to run your air conditioner. Just not enough power. And then right below that, you do have your sewer water connection. Lift this guy up. It does magnet clip up top there. You got your city water connection, so if you're at a site with service, you can throw a garden hose in there, turn it on. That's going to pressurize all the lines without the need to run your water pump. You got a black tanks flush, so let's say you drained your tank, you know your tank's empty for sure, but it's showing false monitor panel readings, or you're just noticing an aroma inside the unit. You can throw a garden hose in there and turn it on. You do have to make sure you have the valve open and the sewer connected for you to do this, and it'll just rinse things out, keeping things that little bit cleaner. You got that exterior shower, hot and cold water. This little cap here, you just loosen this guy off. Pretty tight. You loosen this guy off, it'll allow you to hook up to your sewer. Your sewer hose is gonna have the same 2 ears that this cap does. It just lines up with the notches on the end of the spout and locks into place. You got a black valve and a gray valve. You're always going to want to empty your black valve first. This is going to be your dirtiest water filled from your toilets. And then you can come behind that with your typically a little cleaner water filled from your sinks and your showers with your gray valve. Again, running that through the floor, it makes things out a little bit easier. Twisting that back into place whenever you're traveling. That way you don't get any excess dust and debris inside here. And then on this back wall, you're going to notice you do have this little air valve here, like a tire Schrader valve. Just taking that cap off, that is for your airbags. You're always going to want to make sure you're running a little bit of pressure in there. And then if you have an extra heavy load or you're towing something, you can pump some more air into here. Always making sure that it's even on both sides, of course. You got your gas fill, which is pretty self-explanatory. Next to that, a little bit further down, it's just a couple storage compartments. Not much I'm going to show you inside there. And then if you open up this last door here, you got access to that generator. Twisting these knobs to the open side will allow you to then pull that open, and it's just a service port for if you're wanting to service your own generator. Or if the switch inside isn't working, there is another start-stop switch here, but I'm going to go over how to start this on the inside. And then of course your oil level is that yellow cap there. One thing I'll just go over with you now quick while we're on this side here. Whenever you are running your slide outs, you do have to have the key in the ignition on the accessory or run option, and you have to have your parking brake engaged. Otherwise the slide out's not going to run in or out. Same goes for the stabilizer jack system. Around this side, then just our bus section of the unit. Underneath this guy here, if you twist these knobs, you can open this up. You got your exterior TV. There should be a remote included with that inside. Again, we got a couple storage compartments, and then right here, You need access to that propane fill. This is going to be the on-off valve, so counterclockwise all the way to open up the flow of propane to the unit. You got a level right here that'll tell you what you're at. Of course, there's also one on the monitor panel inside. And then just to the right of that, you got your water heater little access port. Just turning that over will allow you to pop this guy off. You got your main 1/8" drain bolt right down here at the bottom. So if you're leaving the unit for a while, you don't want the water going stale or stagnant, you can crack that open. Whenever you first get to your campsite, you're going to want to hit that pressure relief valve. You should get a shot of water coming out of there, letting you know that the tank's full and safe to fire up. If you're not getting a shot of water, you're always going to want to double check that you're full, because you could run the risk of burning out your tank. You got your reset button here. I'm going to go over a reset procedure once we get inside. The button I'm going to refer to is just right here. To get that back into place, you're just lining up those 2 tabs at the bottom, making sure this is flipped out. And then just pull and twist. Furnace exhaust, so whenever your furnace is running, this is going to be blowing out hot air, so just be mindful of that. You get your fresh water fill. So if you're wanting to fill your fresh tank, that's where you would do so. Flop this guy down here. Got another Schrader valve for that other airbag on this side. And then we can pop open this guy, and that'll give you access to your water filter housing to pop that in. Once you get to what you want to do, you're going to see that pink in there just because the unit currently is winterized. You got a little wrench here for the water filter just to make things a little bit easier. And then you got your bypass hose, so this will connect to there, and you can stick this end into your jug of coolant, or antifreeze, sorry. And the bypass valve is right there. And then you got this valve here, which is going to be for your low point drains as well as your fresh tank drain. Twisting that guy will drain all the fluid out of the lines. And then you got another hot one, which is just underneath the floor. There's a cap for it. You just have to take that cap off, and it'll allow all that to drain out. Taking a step on inside. Pull that handle, the door will open up. Off on the right, first thing you'll notice, that fire extinguisher. You're gonna be just like home, pull the pin and shoot. Underneath this step here, flip that open. You got your 2 house batteries, so that's where you access those. And then speaking of the 2 house batteries, you got your battery disconnect switch on the wall here. With the battery disconnect switch on, like it is now, the batteries are connected to the unit. If you were to turn that to off, the batteries would become disconnected from the unit. You got your base camp leveling system here. Pretty simple. You hit auto level, it'll automatically level the unit. And then of course, you have a couple different options you can go into. You can connect an app to your phone. There's a calibration mode where if it would need to be recalibrated, that's where you would go. They have some jack lights, and then of course you can get into the manual mode, so you can manually run those jacks. Then just the home button to go back to that screen there, and the retract jacks, which will retract them all up. You got a couple light switches here. One doing the little porch light, the other one doing the awning LED strip light. And then you got your awning switch. So if you hit extend, it should be making its way out. I am not sure why it's not. I'll have to look into that later. And then you're gonna have your solar controller right here on the wall. They call it a control panel, but it is really just a monitor panel system. It's gonna tell you what you're charging at, what your batteries are at, what you're using, all that good information. There's a couple different settings you can get into if you'd like to switch it up. So you can look into that. Taking a step on inside, the light switch is just up here on the wall. You got your living room lights and your kitchen lights on the monitor panel system. And then you got your monitor panel system above it. Again, you got your LPG, which is propane. You got your battery, your fresh, your black, and your gray. You're gonna have your generator stop switch. So you're gonna see stop/prime. So whenever you do go to fire the generator, you do have to hold that stop/prime switch. This red light's gonna come on. You're gonna wanna hold it for about 10 seconds. just primes that carburetor with fuel. And then you just hold that start button and the generator fires right up. Little note here that they did change the generator oil at 61.6 hours and it's only at 64 hours, so plenty of time left on that. You got your electric water heater switch and your gas water heater switch. Whenever you do go to fire it on gas, you're going to turn that switch on. The water heater is going to try lighting itself 3 times. If on the 3rd try it doesn't light, this false light's going to come on. In that case, you have to turn that switch off, go hit that reset button I showed you earlier, and then try and turn it back on, and it'll try relighting itself. The reason I say that is whenever you turn the propane off to the unit, it allows some air into the lines. So sometimes it can take a while just to purge all that out. You got your water pump switch, which turns on your water pump, which draws from your fresh tank. And then you got your Arctic pack, which is essentially just heating elements attached to the bottom of your tanks for extended camping season. They say it's for winter, but it's really only good till maybe -5, and even that you're going to be risking it. You got your driver's side rear light. Turning that on turns on a little light above your sewage area. And then you got your slide out switch. Again, having the parking brake on and the ignition in the run or accessory position will allow you to bring that slide out. Once the slide's fully extended, you hear the line and fix the motor. And that's when you're fully extended. And then taking a step into this room here, the switch for the awning is just on the wall behind the curtain. So same way as the front one. Once it's fully extended, you're going to the motors wind up and cut out, and then you're done. We'll go back to the front of the unit here so I can show you some things. You got your cockpit area, which your basic vehicle, and not much I'm going to show you there. Just turn the key off so you can drain the battery. You got your bunk area right up top here, which this piece can come out if you'd like it to come out, just so you have some more space above your head whenever you're driving. But if you want to use it for a bed, you can leave it like so, and then you got your ladder, which just clips into place and locks into these things here, so you can climb up in and out of the bunk nice and easily. Attach this ladder back. You got some storage space underneath these head area with some USB plugins in case you want to charge your phone overnight. In the kitchen area, you got the sink with hot and cold water, lots of storage all around. There's lots of light switches in here underneath the cupboards, which provides lots of underlighting. And that goes for the other side inside the slide out as well. And then you got your propane stove. Speaking of which, because the furnace and the stove both run off propane, propane's heavier than air. If this guy ever starts going off right down here, you're just going to want to turn off the main supply of propane to the unit and open up some vents and some windows just to ventilate it out a little bit. To get it to light, you're just turning it over to that high option. For this igniters to work, you do have to push this blue button to turn everything on, and it turns those igniters on, and you just turn it over to high. It fires right on up. Sometimes it can take a few minutes just to purge all the air out of the lines. I had it running earlier, which is why it fired up so quick. Underneath that, you have a convection oven, which is pretty much just like home. Not much I'm going to show you there. In your little dinette couch area, nice feature about these couches, you do have a charging tray right up top here for smartphones. You just plop your phone up there and it will charge it. All the blinds in the unit do work the same way. They just kind of sit where you leave them, and then one quick pull will allow it to retract back up. Storage all around. You got your dinette area. So right now you have it as a seating / eating area. If you loosen this knob off right down here at the bottom, pull this leg out, it'll allow you to set that tabletop on the ledges on either side. Then you can take your back cushions to fill in the center, and you'd have yourself another bed. Storage underneath these guys as well, just in these drawers. You got your fridge. This does run off 120 or 12 volts. Always making sure whenever you're traveling, all the safety latches, including the one for the fridge is latched, and always making sure your drawers are shut. That way nothing goes flying around whenever you're traveling. There is seat belts for these guys here. You're just having to go from underneath and pull them all out. You got your shower with hot and cold water. Again, safety latch for this as well. Taking a step in here, if you're worried about privacy, this door does open all the way. It's got a magnet right down there at the bottom that will hold it closed for if you were wanting to get dressed or whatever. Then inside here you got your toilet as well as your kitchen or your bathroom sink right above your head. And you'll notice you got an overhead fan. Open up that guy, twist it all the way up, and then the switch for that is just up here on the wall. You do already have a max air vent cover on this one. I'm gonna go most of the plugs inside this unit all run off GFI. The main GFI plug is right here. You got reset up at the top, test down at the bottom. If you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, this would be the first place I'd look. Always making sure you got that green light telling you have a successful power source. And then you just got your bedroom, which you do have another TV. The TV also does pull out, and there's a little storage area in case you want to put DVDs or anything back there, or a DVD player, as well as 2 extra plugins. Again, this has a travel latch as well, so just making sure that's latched. Storage all around. There's also storage underneath the bed. Fire exits right here. You just have to undo these 2 clips, which will allow you to open that up and hop right on out. Pull this towards you to close it, lock it back into place. And then on that wall right behind you, you got your thermostat. So this unit does have a heat pump built into the air conditioner. Turn that button on once. You're going to turn on the air conditioning fan. That's just moving air around using the air conditioner. There's no heating or cooling involved. Push that button one more time. You get into cool. Now once you're on either cool or hot, you can push the temperature up or down button, and that will change your set temperature. Hitting that fan button will take you from high and low. Hit that mode button again, and you go into heat pump. Now this reverses the action of the air conditioner. Instead of blowing in cold air and blowing out hot air, it's going to blow in the hot air and blow out the cold air. One more button and you get to furnace. Now that will fire up your propane furnace. One more button and you'll run just the furnace, no heat pump. And then one more button again will just cycle you over to off and turn everything off. Whenever the furnace does fire up, whenever you turn it off, it's going to run for another 3 minutes just as a safety precaution to allow it to cool down. That's going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.